Tom Brady, Tuck Rule Tommy. Obviously, he
Tommy.
retired recently. And Josh McDaniels was his offensive coordinator for a big chunk of his career, for half a dozen Super Bowls, bunch of records that he broke. It was Josh McDaniels as the mastermind behind his career. And Tom Brady talked about the Josh McDaniels getting hired by the Raiders as the head coach on his podcast on SiriusXM called Let's Go. And this is what he had to say.
Well, I'm really excited for Josh. He's a tremendous coach. I was very fortunate to be around him for as long as I did. And anytime someone gets that opportunity, it's tremendous for them and their family. And to be the leader of an organization is a great feeling. And he certainly deserves to be that. Works extremely hard, is so smart, prepared, understand really what it takes to put together a winning culture. And he's been around that for a long time. And obviously I wish him nothing but the most success. And it's an exciting time for a lot of these franchises that are getting new coaches. There's a lot of hope. And it's, you go from the end of the season with just lots of disappointment to shortly after, finding some coaches to lead you into a different place. So for a lot of organization, that's very, very exciting.
So he seems pumped on it, likes it. It seems, though, to me, very kind of generic commentary from Tom Brady about it. He doesn't, he mentioned, all the good things about him, but, just kind of generic things. Works hard, been around success, like all kind of things that we know. I think deep down, I don't think he likes it. I think he likes the fact that his friend and colleague got a promotion, right? Like he was getting $4 million as offensive coordinator in New England. He's getting more in Las Vegas, right? Now he's a head coach again, right? He has a chance to kind of wipe the slate clean after his absolute failure as the Denver Broncos head coach. Now he's like, okay, now it's a time to say, like, that wasn't me. I wasn't ready then. Now I am. This is my new time, right? Like, and you can say, like, I'm just like Belichick, right? Belichick failed at the Browns, and now he became the most successful coach in NFL history, arguably, right? So it's like, I think that's what Tom Brady is more. That's like what I got the most out of that 60 seconds of Tom Brady talking about his old coordinator is, I'm happy he got a promotion. Like that was the biggest part of his mind. Like the biggest part of the story to him was just like, yeah, he got a raise, he got a promotion. Less about, I think he's going to do X, Y, or Z.
I mean, I don't know where you're getting that from. He said specifically he's going to do well. He said specifically he's an excellent coach. He's prepared. He knows how to build a winning culture. Like, I don't understand where you're getting that he's being generic. Like, he said very specific things in that interview. I don't think, if you're looking for specific X's and O things, no, he didn't go into that specifics, but things that make that will give you a reason why he'll be in 60 seconds. He was specific why he would be, but I think it'll be different this time around.
I didn't get that at all.
I think because you're down on the hire. I think you're just.
I'm not down on the hire. I've said multiple times. I'm not as high as you are. Like, you're all about it. I'm like, well, I'm kind of like, all right, we know what we're getting, and we know what the risks are, right? Like, it could be, the Patriots.
You're kind of down on it. You kind of don't like it.
I'm completely
you're waiting for him
vanilla.
You're waiting for him to fall on his face.
I want him to succeed. I'm not like
but you're waiting for him to fall on his face.
I'm waiting for him to fall on his face, or I'm waiting for him to succeed. Like, I don't really, like, again, we know the history of the Belichick coaching tree, right? We know that this could be different because he's already been a head coach. We know we're getting an offensive genius. We know we're getting a guy that not great with players. Like, for every good thing he's doing that we know he's good at, there's another thing we know that he's bad at, right? So it's a matter of, what are we going to get? It's like, it's all, what I'm worried about is they're going to try to go square peg round hole, right? Like, this is what I do as Josh McDaniels and Ziegler as well. Like, this is what I do. This is how I do it. And I'm going to do it this way, right? Now, he's very diverse and skilled as an offensive coordinator, play caller, right? Like, he's very good about, he was a coach for Cam Newton and a rookie and Tom Brady, and he still got something out of each one of them, more or less, right? Like, He's diverse in his skills, but I think as far as how he handles himself with a team, it's very, this is how I do it. And it's a matter of, is that going to jive in Las Vegas? Like that to me is the biggest question.
In what respect?
Because he's not a player's coach, right? They're like the Raiders are going from a guy in Bisaccia, who they all loved, right? Just universally beloved Bisaccia. Before that, they also liked Gruden, but differently. Gruden was just like a raw football guy that you like bro down with, right? He was beloved, but in a different way, right? And now you're going to Josh McDaniels, who is all business. And maybe that's exactly what the Raiders need. Maybe the Raiders need a lot less coddling and love and handwritten notes, and they need to do your job, be on time, stop with the penalties, stop driving drunk, or else, right? That's, again, best case scenario. He comes in as a disciplinarian and with a stringent way to do things, Raiders fall in line and succeed. Another way that could possibly happen is he comes in with that same mentality, and the Raiders are like, fuck you.
Here's the deal, man. These guys are all pros. They're all professionals. Okay. As much as Josh McDaniels needs to come in and get the trust of these guys need to understand that Josh McDaniels is his own person, and they can't compare him to Rich Bisaccia. They can't do that. They're two different people. And I heard Keyshawn Johnson tell a story of when Bill Parcells was in Dallas. He was in Dallas with Bill Parcells, and he was kind of joking around with Bill Parcells because he was with Bill with the Jets when he took. Actually, no, he was with the Jets when he took over the Jets his second year there. I think he had Rich Kotite his first year, and they were awful. And then Parcells went in their second year, and he was chumming around. He always had a connection with Parcells. Excuse me, pronouns, pal. Parcells had a connection with Keyshawn Johnson because he knew him, because Parcells' childhood friend was John Robinson, who was Keyshawn Johnson's college head coach. So he knew who he was, and he was chumming around. He's like,
everyone knows everybody in football. It's so wild.
It's weird, but they were like legit, like next door neighbors when they were kids.
Yeah,
Parcells and John Robinson. So they're walking. He's walking around, and Keyshawn Johnson overheard Parcells talking to one of his assistant coaches. Who's it going to be? Who do you think it's going to be? And Keyshawn didn't know at the moment, but it's which one of these veteran players is the guy I'm going to cut because he's mouthing off or he's not getting in line. Like which one is it going to be?
Am I going to send who's going to be the victim?
Who's going to be the victim I send a message to?
Yeah,
that's what I'm not saying he should do this, but the I think that we're as fans, we're like, oh well, Josh McDaniels needs to change 180 and do a 180 and be this wholly different person. And I'm not saying he doesn't need to change a little bit, but let's not think that we were this perfect team. We had a lot of penalties. We had a lot of mistakes on the field. We made a lot of mistakes off the field. One of the things that we wanted to do was bring in a lot more discipline to this program and change the culture of this organization. And from what Tom Brady said specifically is that Josh McDaniels knows, and Dave Ziegler to that extent know what to do to bring a different culture to an organization. All right. Now, if that ruffles people's feathers the wrong way, so be it.
Brady didn't say he knows how to. I don't believe he said he knows how to bring a winning culture to another organization. He said he knows what it's like to be in a winning culture. Two very different things, right?
No, run it back. He did say that he knows what it takes to be in a winning culture,
which is different. Right, he knows what it takes to be in a winning culture. Yes, he knows how to succeed.
Now you're just talking semantics right now, RJ.
But that is a big difference.
It is not a big difference.
It is a giant difference between knowing how to thrive in an already built winning culture and starting a winning
out
culture
of nowhere. RJ, you had to build it. You have to set a foundation.
Yeah, Belichick built it, and then he went into it.
Okay, so you have to build it. And if it's not
Yeah.
that when you're there, the expectations are the expectations, and that's it. Just because the guys are getting pissed off doesn't mean you can soften on the expectations, because then you're fucked.
It's not always the same skill, right? Like certain in Detroit, right? In Michigan, the car industry, right? Starting to flounder. It was once like the pride and joy of American business.
Where the water
right?
flows like mud.
It was beautiful, right? Like GM was the biggest company in the world and all this stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the 1800s, late 1800s, that area was known for its entrepreneurship. That area has had just bred entrepreneurs, and it was a certain type of person. Now in that area, it's all guys that just run businesses. It's guys that know how to like corporate structure and go into a big company and maintain how it's thriving. The skill of being an entrepreneur and running a startup and getting a startup off the ground and being profitable is often a very different skill set than going into a profitable company and maintaining its profits and making sure it stays and thrives, right? We know that Josh McDaniels can thrive in a winning culture. Does he also have the skills to start from scratch? We know he can be successful in a corporation as it's running. Is he the entrepreneurial, for my example, to start it from, not from scratch because they won 10 games, but to start it anew? I don't know, because the one time he tried, he failed in Denver. Again, long time ago.
Yeah.
I'm assuming he's smarter and better. In the press conference, he sounded very self-aware. He freely admitted what he screwed up in Denver. And that's why what I do love is the two together, McDaniels and Ziegler, because Daniels can be the bad cop and Ziegler can be the good cop, right? Ziegler's the guy that's known to be the teacher, the
guidance counselor. He was a
guidance
counselor.
Guidance counselor. He's a guy that loves attention, right? He was extras on like Law and Order episodes, right? Like he loved to be around people and be seen, and like he's opposite of McDaniels in that way. So like the two together hopefully will work out, right? But again, thriving in a winning environment is different than starting a winning environment. Now, I'm not saying you can't do it. I'm just saying it's two different skills.